Hey and welcome to Neverwinter with Aragon. So today I'd like to go over how to obtain the new artifact for the Bard. This would be the one which you can see here in the class artifacts, the Sigil of the Bard. And we can see it has the potential to be pretty good. And you'll be able to rank that up and all the way to Mythic, and then we can see what type of buffs it's actually going to give your party. You can see it will increase the damage dealt by DPS, decrease the damage taken by tanks, and increase the outgoing healing for healers. So this potentially could be a really good buffing artifact along with dealing some decent damage, since it will also cause your attacks to deal additional damage of 150 magnitude. So let's go and obtain this and see what it's like. Firstly, I'd like to give a very special thank you to all of my channel members for helping me keep my channel going. So initially you're going to have to jump over to Mr. Neverwinter himself here, pick up Vault of the Nine quest, and this will lead you into the vault where we can obtain that sigil. So we're going to go and have to travel over to the Sleeping Dragon Bridge, and we can just go and teleport right there. And here we have it, a very similar start what you would have when doing Castle Never. Raise the portcullis and we can make our way through. Go and speak to this mysterious drow, see what he has to say, and he wishes us to go and find those code snippets. When we have both the codes, we should be able to enter the vault. Apparently there's these bad guys here who also wish to enter into the vault, I guess. Or they're just guarding it, not sure. We just kill off these enemies with our fancy bardic powers. Soon it'll help out mightily too. And we obtain our first snippet of code. And we should be able to just make our way down past all of the enemies right here. And obtain our next snippet of code just here after killing all of these enemies. I really like all the movement that the Bard has to offer. It's pretty neat in AoE combat, but as for its effectiveness compared to other classes, I think it's definitely a little bit weaker, but that may be just to my lack of experience. So we have both snippets and we can enter the vault. And the lion statue rises up and we have our doorway. And there we go, we are just going to have to make our way through this area up to the vault entrance, killing all these undead who guard it. I definitely like the introduction of more move speed, that's for sure, from Azures along with the guild boon. We gain a total of 35% this module. And we can run through this pretty quickly. And we make our way around the corner, up these flight of steps, and we should have the boss. There we have it, the beholder. Oh, I've been forgetting to actually use my songs. Anyway, Xuna has pretty much just slaughtered him. And that's him dealt with. And now we should be able to interact with the sarcophagus and obtain our coffer. There we go. And we head back to Protector's Enclave and back to Lord Neverwinter. We hand in the quest and we should be able to get our new artifact, the Sigil of the Bard. Whether we obtain it in our inventory or we obtain it by claiming it here, I'm not sure. Yes, we'll claim it here then. And there we have it, the green Sigil of the Bard. Let's get this leveled up all the way to Epic, Legendary, and finally on to Mythic. And there we have it. We have the Sigil of the Bard, which unfortunately, when ranked up to Mythic, is actually only going to give us 5% bonus damage to DPS, and then that corresponding to the other roles of damage resistance and outgoing healing. So that's actually not that great, but the benefit of this is if you're playing a class which can hit very frequently, you'll be able to obtain a lot of the extra damage just through its magnitude bonus on each of your hits. You can see there the Grandstand's Ballad effect, where you can cause your attacks to deal additional radiant damage against the primary target and grant a buffed base on your roll. On this additional damage is 150 magnitude, and then of course those buffs of 5%. Now the uptime on this is only 10 seconds, so we're going to go and slot this onto our character and let's give it a test. It does give the statistics of Forte, combat advantage, stamina regen, and also as usual, combined rating. Oddly enough, they've decided they're going to leave it at the lower item level score of 300 rather than just increasing all of the sigils. In my opinion, all of these class sigils really need a bit of a rework, especially some of those other artifacts that just deal next to no damage. So let's make our way to some dummies and we can see what type of damage it can output on our attacks. So here we are before a bunch of dummies. I'm just going to go for testing purposes and summon an augment companion so we don't get so many damage markers from our pet. And let's go and cast the artifact. We cast it and it gives us that song effect. Now it's on a cooldown, and as we can see, its recharge time is 180 seconds, which is that 3 minutes. Not sure if this is a bug or intended, since the benefit of this could be pretty powerful if you can get a lot of those hits off with that 150 magnitude. So we're going to have to wait till it's off cooldown and then I can cast it again and actually test what type of damage it's dealing. So we go and cast our Sigil of the Bard, and then we go and use our at-will. We can just use this at-will staccato there. So we done our multiple hits there. Let's actually have a look in the combat log then real quick. Go and see our outgoing damage. We can see the Sigil of the Bard was dealing a hefty amount of damage there over time. You can see it seems to last about 10 seconds there, from 1 minute and 45 to 1 minute and 55. And each of those hits are generally at a base damage of that 28,000. Of course, that is going to vary a bit depending on my own stats. And you can see it can crit, but its chance seemed to be pretty low there. Not sure why that is the case. We're getting a decent amount of damage, and we got up to there 200,000 damage. Now, is that going to be potentially the best? Well, since this magnitude, or since this damage does scale with regards to your statistics and then the debuffs on the enemies, it could potentially be like the best during artifact call and when you can get off multiple hits in short succession. We're going to have to do some further testing. You're probably still going to want to be using, let's say, the Envenomed Storyteller Journal for increasing your own damage and also then giving that action point gain. We've yet to see, and we're going to have to test out, does this even stack? Because if it does stack with those damage bonuses, then yeah, it could potentially be really good. So further testing is definitely required with regards to this artifact, and we'll see when Module 21 launches, is this recharge time of 3 minutes going to still be in effect? The artifact duration is only 10 seconds. It is only a 5% buff compared to things like the Wyvern, which is a 12%, or other ones which are like 10%, and those would be the ones we would usually use during an artifact call. So hopefully this was somewhat insightful, just a showcase of the new artifact. If I presented this well, consider leaving the video a like, and if you're new around here, consider subscribing. We'll see you guys around. Bye for now.